Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music, and here on the porch, I guess this is another porch talk. And what I want to talk about today is, well, sometimes I just suck. I just don't play well. Right? You too, probably, right? There is definitely something in that for us, though. That's what I want to look at today. Well, sometimes I suck, right? And that's just a normal thing for a musician, right? A lot of being a musician is coping with the struggles of failure or coming up against a barrier that seems perhaps insurmountable, dealing with your disappointment and frustration. And perhaps if you're playing in an ensemble, there's an element of maybe, embarrassment or even shame or guilt. You didn't, hit the mark and you let your buddies down. It's like that foxhole mentality. When you're fighting in a war, you're not really fighting for the flag. You're fighting for that person next to you, right? Well, this comes up with my younger students a lot, and it can be debilitating for a young student who may be very capable in other areas to just not be able to make quick progress in piano. And an adult student will often have exactly the same challenge. They may be a very capable attorney, a doctor, or a writer, great at their job, a super salesman. And yet when they get a guitar in their hand or try to play a beat or play keyboards, suddenly it's just not familiar, and it's just daunting. And the burden, the emotional burden of that is huge. So what happened to me in rehearsal the other day, and I finally have found a bass player, and it's been very exciting. The drummer and I we've been working together a long time, the past year and a half or so, and now a bass player comes in, and suddenly we're rethinking everything, and it requires a certain amount of adjustment, right? And it's exciting as well. So in rehearsal, I'm just going to say, in hindsight, I was trying too hard. I was pushing in a direction that I really wasn't ready to go yet. In fact, perhaps in a direction that I should consider wanting to go. And the frustration level of that is intense, right? Where you've got like a couple of good phrases going on, and then I fall out. I get another good set of phrases, the rhythm is right, and then stumble, like someone running on a track and not being able to get their feet under them all the time. And this is an enormous burden, and it just happens to us all the time. Well, there are a couple of ways of looking at that. One is to just simply throw up my hands and say, I'm not cut out for this kind of music, or I need to rethink my approach completely, and just try to play only, children's songs from now on. But I think, and this is kind of what I came to, really thinking about this a lot over the course of the past couple of days, it reminds me of what my yoga teacher says all the time to me. I have a great yoga teacher. If you guys are in Santa Fe, go visit T.S. Little and his studio there. I'll tell you, T.S. is one of the great teachers. So I was taking an online class with him this morning, and he reminded us that there's an edge that each of us needs to be aware of as we go forward in our practice, and that the real work is finding that edge and being right at it, backing off, going towards it again and again. Find that edge of capability and strength and weakness. Where is it? Be with it, and don't push past it. Wise words, hard to live with when this young bass player that I'm working with is a complete monster, and I desperately want to impress them. My music teacher, Dr. Roland Wiggins, said very wisely, greatness in a musician, in a performer, is the realization of a tendency. It's the actualization of what we're going towards, what we love and admire and respect the most. And as we progress and mature and evolve as artists, we go towards gradually something that's really to some degree further and further away from everyone else. That the artistry, the individual artistry that's sort of bubbling up within us and that each of us contains, I really believe this potentially, has a expression that's unique. And that after you get the basics down, our job on a day-to-day basis is to examine those edges, examine that direction, and gradually nurture that pathway towards something that's really personal. I've been lucky enough to have a chance to meet with some great artists over the years. And I was listening to the first Bad Plus album. These Are the Vistas. I think that's the name of it. Just day before yesterday. And Ethan Iverson, the jazz pianist, composer, and arranger, worked for a bunch of years with Mark Morris, and I had a chance to meet him over the course of that work. And I watched Ethan's unique abilities gradually take him to a place that I've never heard any other pianist go, right? And as you watch an artist grow and change and move kind of away from the pack, while at the same time maintaining this just enormous, kind of like monumental talent, and I know he's not to everyone's taste, it can be quite inspiring. And the danger for me, and I think almost everybody shares this to some degree, is we see our idols, our musical heroes, and we emulate them. As a young person, Chick Corea, Keith Jarrett, Oscar Peterson, Horace Silver, my own teacher. I'd look at their playing and listen to them. Marion McPartland's show, she could play anything, play with anybody. Listen to them and think, oh, I want and need to be able to do that. And we are rewarded for our flexibility and our protean nature, our ability to change, to fit into anything. But of course, the problem with a protean, changeable nature is the opposite energy, because I don't know if you know this Greek myth about Procrustes. So the Procrustean bed is like an idea that is worth keeping in your brain. There was an innkeeper, it was the only hotel on the road there in Greece, and he had one bed. And if a traveler came, he would lie him down in the bed and say, well, you're awful tall, and he'd cut off his feet. Or he'd lie him down in the bed and say, well, you're just too short, we're gonna have to stretch you out. Nobody's gonna fit that darn bed, right? And in fact, most of us are gonna do damage to ourselves. Here's the garbage truck, we're gonna get a little radio play. Most of us are gonna do damage to ourselves if we try to fit into the Procrustean bed. We're gonna wind up with our feet chopped off. As a pianist, I get asked to do lots of different kinds of gigs, and we're trained to do lots of different things. So I've been a vocal accompanist, I've played for ballet classes, I've written for theater and television, for film. And that material has an enormously wide range of stylistic and kind of like, just artistic breadth. Is it all me? The truth is, it's not. At a certain point in my life, I started to ask myself, do I really want to do that thing that's not me? And then I forgot that I'd asked myself that question. And then I remembered, and then I forgot. And then I remembered, and then I forgot. I forgot, and then I remembered again this week. So I hope that you can hold on to your own edge, that your edge becomes something that you're in conversation with as you grow to the artist that is most perfectly you. It's no one else. There's a great need for what you have and what you have to offer. And I treasure that when I find that in an artist. And I hope that you treasure that when you find that within yourself. Well, I hope this has been useful. Like and subscribe and ding the bell. I want you guys to be notified when I do my videos. Leave me a comment about this. Have you faced these same issues? I sort of bet everyone at a certain level begins to confront this, right? I'll see you next time.